welcome to Murphy's Garden. And today I just want to get on with planting some bulbs. My box of bulbs has arrived. I get these from a company called J. Parker. They're very good, and there's quite a lot to do. I have ordered. Sometimes you get a little bit carried away ordering things when you're looking at them in the catalogue, and then when they arrive it's quite daunting that you've got so many to plant. But just start small and do a little bit. I'll do some today and some tomorrow. So the thing I want to get done today, this pathway that you see behind me, I plant it every year with cream and white flag tulips, and I don't lift them, I just leave them in because they are quite perennial. They do tend to come back again, but just to guarantee success, every year I plant some more on top. So I've got another, I've got another 120, and these are cream and white flag. So there's 60 of each in these bags. There's 10 in each bag, but I've got 60 white and 60 cream flag tulips. So I'm just going to go along and plant them in here. This year, what I've been recommended to use. This is called a bulb starter, and it's got some mycorrhizal fungi in it, and it just helps the bulb. It's meant to be really good at just getting better and bigger and more impressive looking tulips, and well, any bulb really. So I've never used this before, but I'm going to give it a go. Certainly find that mycorrhizal fungi is excellent when planting other things, so it might be a good idea to try it with the bulbs this year and see if it improves things. You just plant a little sprinkle of it in the hole, planting hole. So talking of planting holes, I'm going to experiment a little bit. In the past, I have had a bulb planter in the past, just a small one like this, and I find that I got the soil out and then the soil would get stuck, and it was just sometimes more trouble than it's worth. So last year I just used, this is a little rabbiting spade, just a small spade, and I used that and I got on quite well with that. But Alistair has borrowed this from someone. This is a tall bulb planter, so I'm going to give that a go, save the old back. And also I've got this one as well to try. So this one, you put it in only to get the soil out. You press this and it makes it a little bit bigger, and the soil's meant to just fall out more easily. So because I'm putting in the mycorrhizal, it might be worth taking out the segment of soil, being able to sprinkle it with the mycorrhizal and then putting the bulb in. So I'm going to give that a go as well and see how we get on. Now the first thing I've done is just go along here, and I've already done that. I've weeded the area and I've just cut back the nepeta. So and picked up some leaves and just a general bit of a tidy up. And then I'm going to go through these bulbs and mix them up a bit. So mix the white and the cream flag up, and then I'm just going to go down here and just randomly drop them where I want to plant them. So I'm just going to do that. It seemed quite a lot, but then when you come to do it, you realise it's not that many really. It's quite a big area, which is why I like to keep adding to it every year. So I'm just having a go with the bulb planter. So I begin by removing the soil, and then I will sprinkle in a little bit of the mycorrhizal bulb starter, just a little bit, and then place the bulb in the hole the right way up. The problem I find with the bulb planters is they don't really go deep enough. I would rather have it a little bit deeper than that, but I just try and release the soil on top. It's a bit difficult because I've only got one hand because I'm holding the camera. Hi, so I'm back in the garden again. We did make some progress last weekend. We got the 120 tulip bulbs planted. I used up all the bulb starter mycorrhizal fungi, planting those 120 bulbs. So we needed to get some more. So we've ordered some more, which I'll use in this area. So I'm in the parterre. Last weekend it was so wet, and it was just a bit of a nightmare really, but I couldn't film because it was so wet. I have been doing some changes to the borders, the perennial borders, and just moving things around. It was absolutely filthy, but anyway, today is dry at the moment. It's a bit overcast, but hopefully we can get on and get some stuff done. So in the parterre, last year I planted some tulips, and they were called Angelique. They're very pretty. They're kind of peony-like tulips, very nice. They're very pink and pretty, and I thought I needed perhaps a bit of a contrast to that. So this year I have got some more. They are meant to be perennial. I did investigate which are the best perennial bulbs, and I did find that they are meant to be perennial. So I've left them all in and hope that they'll come back again, but I have bought some more. So I've got another 60 of these, tulip Angelique, and also also 60 of these, and these are called green spirit. So I thought, because it's very pretty and pink, I thought it might be quite nice to have a bit of a contrast with a splash of kind of acid green, just to sort of counteract the kind of sickly sweet pinkness of it all. So that's what I'm going to do today. The issue I've got here in the parterre is that we put the Strolch down in this area. Now, Strolch is a product which suppresses the weeds, adds minerals and nutrients to the soil. It's really good. It's been fantastic at suppressing the weeds. I've barely weeded here at all. There's an occasional weed that makes its way through, but compared to what it had been like, whereas weeding it it seemed every 2 weeks, I seem to have to weed it. I haven't had that problem at all. It really has been brilliant. It's a product that I wouldn't advocate using everywhere. You couldn't, I certainly couldn't afford to. It'd be very expensive, but for a small confined area, and this area where there's a lot of bare soil on show, and I don't underplant, I just have the bare soil underneath the roses, it's a lovely contrast to the planting. It really shows the roses off well. So I really advocate that, and it's meant to last for up to 2 years, and yes, it hasn't shown any sign of rotting down, but it will be a bit of an issue when I come to plant the tulips, because I'll have to sort of scrape it back to get at the soil, but I think we can manage it. Following on from planting the tulips, where I experimented a little bit with different types of bulb planters, and to be honest, I'm going back to my method. Oh, this is filthy from the weekend, but this is my just small spade, and I find that I can get the tulips in deeper. You should plant tulips at least 3 times the depth of the height of the tulip, so I like to get them in deep, because that way they're more likely to be perennial. So I've messed about with different bulb planters, but I find I can get the spade in quite deep, and they just prise it back and forward, a bit like planting bare root hedging. I use the same method for that, and you can just slot the tulip in and get it in quite deep and sprinkle in the mycorrhizal. So that's the method I prefer. So yeah, Murphy's out here helping, so we'll just get to work and hopefully get this done before the rain starts again. It seems to be very wet. So here I'll just show you the one of the sections of the parterre, and you can see the Strolch, so it's done quite well really. There's a few weeds, there's 1 there and 2 there, but other than that there's really not much at all, so I'm finding it to be really, really good. And the Desdemona roses, as you can see, it's now November, and look how lovely they are. They keep flowering, they keep having more and more flushes, and they've just been super. So another thing which I can also do while I'm planting the tulips is I've got this is another rose that I grew as a cutting, so it's getting quite big, and if there's a gap somewhere then I'll pop that in too. So I'll just begin by getting rid of these weeds. I think that's it really, it's not hard. And I'll also just prune and deadhead the roses. Dear. Dear, my secateurs. I came in the pouring rain last weekend, and I didn't really clean anything. My secateurs are all gunked up with mud. Oh, and they still smell nice, the roses, they're lovely. Right, so I've got my Angelique bulb, so I've got 60, so that means 15 in each of the quadrants. So I'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not nearly enough. It's not nearly enough really, is it? That's 10. But yeah, you realise, you think you got loads, and then It's not really enough, is it? Never enough. And then the same with these, so 15 of the green spirit. So this is my technique. Scrape the strolch back, make a slit in the soil, quite deep, and then I rock back and forward like that and just make quite a deep slit really, and then I will put the mycorrhizal in and then add the bulb the right way up, and it will drop in really quite deep. And then simply cover it all back up again. That's it really. It doesn't disturb things too much. And here we go again. So in deep, back and forward. It makes it really quite a nice deep hole, and it doesn't put any strain on your hands. I find if you're doing loads of bulbs with the bulb planter, you get really sore hands. So, and also back, you don't have to bend down too much doing it this way, and it drops in really quite deep. So I've just raked the area. I've got all the tulips in now, and I've raked the area, and I don't think it's had too much of a destructive effect on the strolch. It still seems to have got good coverage, and I think just by doing the slit method it really disturbs the soil a lot less. I don't want to damage roots of roses or the box hedging or anything like that, so I think that minimises any disruption that way. Now we've got our technique, we'll crack on and get the rest of the parterre done. And the other thing I'm just going to do, there's a bit of a gap here, so I've just popped in the cutting, the rose cutting that I grew. So we've got some nice manure there, so I've popped that in, and that's all planted and just filled in that gap. And we've also used some of the bulbs in the pot display, so we've just placed some of the bulbs at the bottom and then added some of the little bedding plants on top, and we've kept some of the grasses in just for a little bit of height and interest. And this is the stone trough, which is planted out now too, and also some of the containers around by the pond. And now I'm in the woodland garden. We've got some more bulbs here to plant, and here we've got the little Chionodoxa bulbs. These are quite small little bulbs. There's about 50 in a bag, and I think I've got 3 bags. And they come in different colours. There's white alba, there's one called rose queen, they're pinks, purples and whites. And Chionodoxa, we haven't grown that before, but it's a lovely, very early little bulb, and it looks best in a kind of woodland setting where it will naturalise and form lovely carpets under trees. So it comes out pretty early. It's one of the earliest bulbs, along with Snowdrops. And we have got a few little snowdrop bulbs as well, not many. Usually we just split those and in the green. That's probably the best way of getting more snowdrops, but I have got some bulbs just to try. And then along with that, we're free with my J. Parker order was a bag of narcissi, daffodils and narcissi. So they're just a mix. So I'll just put those probably sort of around this woodland area as well. So we are losing light. It's very short days, so we'll push on and try and get finished before it's dark. So Chionodoxa should be planted about 10 centimetres in depth, and I'm going to keep the colours together. So this is the Chionodoxa luciliae. So I'm going to keep all this one together and plant them about 10 centimetres. And they'll form this lovely carpet, hopefully. And here we've got a peony, so these will come out obviously before the peony. So the ones I've just done, I think, are the purple ones. I think they just says Chionodoxa, luciliae. I think the normal ones are just purple, and these ones are the alba, so these are the white ones. So I'm going to put a little clump in here. And I'm not spacing them out too much. I want to go for sort of impact, so I'm keeping them quite close together, and then I'm hoping that they will over time naturalise. I think the white will look really nice next to this purple euchera. And I've only got a few snowdrops, so I think I'll just put them in here. There's not that many of them. I think only, how many are in here? 25, so there's not that many. So I'll just stick them under here. They look nice underneath that phormium. The nice thing about doing it on video is that I will be able to look and see whether they've come up where I've planted them. Sometimes when you do them, you can't remember where you put anything. So it'll be interesting. I'll be able to monitor it more closely this year and see whether they've worked. So put some in there, and I'll just put some over on this side, I think, as well. I think I'll plant the last of the Chionodoxa underneath this multi-stem silver birch.
Formerly treated as a separate genus, Chionodoxa since 2009 are included in the Scilla as a section. This section is endemic to the Eastern Mediterranean, specifically Crete, Cyprus and Turkey. The blue, white or pink flowers appear in the early part of the year, flowering from February to April, making them valuable garden ornamentals. The common name of the group, Glory of the Snow, is based on the habit of flowering in high alpine zones when the snow melts in spring.
That's the daffodils planted as well. So the bulbs in the woodland garden are all planted. We have still got more to do, but we've certainly made a good start with planting. We've got all the tulips planted, the Chionodoxa, the snowdrops and the narcissi and daffodils. So it's lovely getting them planted, and on a very dreary, dark day like today, it gives us something bright and exciting to look forward to in the spring. So thank you very much for watching, and join us again in the next video. Bye for now. Good boy. Come on, let's go.